December 2019, Chinese authorities notified the world that a virus was spreading throughout their community. In the following months, it started spreading in other countries too. So, in today's video, we are going to explain about a virus called Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, simply called COVID-19, also known as coronavirus. How it infects your body, how to escape from this virus, etc. And chapters of this video is mentioned in description, so you can directly skip to the part you like. As you know, a lot of people are not able to find beds and etc. Due to that, people are going into critical conditions and some are even dying. Seeing all this, SriThejas, a member of Learner, has created a website application called Indian COVID Resource Index, in where there would be options of all states and union territories of India. And if you click on a state, example Telangana, you will find all the resources for beds and etc. And you could also upload your resource. And for this, the link is given in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Now, let's discuss on its structure. Let's start from the inside of the virus. We can find genetic material which is needed to pair multiple copies of itself. This genetic material is covered by a protein shell, this protein shell protects the genetic material when entering the human body, and this shell is coated with the layers which allow the virus to infect the healthy cell, and finally we can see some protein spikes which are pointing outer layer. Arguably, it's not even a living thing. It can only make more of itself by entering a living cell. How it spreads? You can see whether or not when a man coughs, a maximum of 3,000 saliva droplets will come out, and when a man sneezes, a maximum of 40,000 saliva droplets will come out. Now the strange thing here is, perhaps, if an infected person coughs or sneezes, each saliva droplet contains a maximum of 20 lakh COVID cells. Oh my god! And this cell travels at the speed of 300 km per hour till 1 meter. That's why doctors and others advise you to maintain at least 1 meter distance from each other. The vital question now is, do COVID cells travel in air? If you talk scientifically, no. It's impossible that COVID cells can spread in air, but some people believe that when an infected person coughs, the COVID cells stick to the dust which is present in the air and remains for at least 2 to 3 hours, and if another person enters the place where the infected person coughed, soon he will be infected with the virus. According to the research, COVID-19 stays on glass for 96 hours, plastic and steel for 72 hours, cardboard for 24 hours, etc. If a non-infected person touches this kind of surface and again touches body parts like mouth and nose, COVID cells will enter into his body and he will be infected. So now, what happens when COVID cells enter into your body? To know what happens when a coronavirus cell enters your body, you must know how lungs help or work in your body. So, let's go ahead. As we all know, a human being has 2 lungs, and those lungs have separate sections called lobes. When we breathe air, the air enters into our windpipe and that travels to the large tubes which are known as bronchi, and then moves to the smaller tubes called bronchioles, and finally coming to the main part, that is alveoli. Yes, after air travels to bronchioles, it enters the alveoli which is present at the end of bronchioles. There are 60 million alveoli in your 2 lungs. These alveoli are flexible. When you inhale, each air sac expands like a small balloon, and when you breathe out, they contract. These alveoli are surrounded by blood vessels which are called capillaries. The oxygen that comes into your alveoli goes into your capillaries, then your heart which pumps blood to other parts of your body, whereas the CO2 that is present in your body comes to capillaries, then to your alveoli. Then lungs can push it out and when you exhale. Hope you understand how lungs help or work in your body. If not, see it again. So now, let's talk about what happens when viruses come to your body. Let's go ahead. As you all studied in your childhood, our body is made up of cells. So obviously, alveoli is made up of cells too. This virus enters into the healthy cells of alveoli, which are in the lungs. Hang on, have you ever wondered of $1 million question that why these COVID-19 cells enter into our lungs only? Why not hand cells and why not brain cells? So, this channel will answer this $1 million question because lungs have ACE2 receptors. Yes. Actually, these ACE2 receptors are for taking in nutrients needed to the cell. So now, this protein spikes which are pounding the outer layer of the virus can fit into a ACE2 receptor, and ACE2 receptor thinks the virus is friendly thing and the receptor allows the virus into this cell. You can say that ACE2 receptor acts like a lock and to enter the cell, then the thing needs to insert its key, which is protein spike. After going into the healthy cell, it tells the cell to stop your work and I have work for you. Make my copies viruses. Have DNA which has instructions how to prepare itself or its copies. This DNA enters the cell nucleus. As you know, the nucleus is the boss of the cell. So the cell factory's boss is the nucleus, so that the cell factory starts making its copies. As the cell factory starts building many copies of viruses, there would be no space for that many copies of viruses. Therefore, the cell would blast. Now the blasted cell releases the virus which was produced by its factory. The same process will be continued with the other healthy cell. But however, when a first cell dies, our innate immune system reacts and starts fighting with the virus. In this stage, you would get common COVID symptoms such as the most common symptoms are fever, dry cough and tiredness. Least common symptoms are aches and pains, sore throat, diarrhea, conjunctivitis, headache and loss of taste or smell, and a rash on skin or discoloration of fingers or toes. Serious symptoms are difficulty in breathing or shortness of breath, chest pain or pressure, loss of speech or movement. And now, we will tell you how you can recover. As we said, your innate immune system will fight with COVID. Right, in the meanwhile, your adaptive immune system will create antibodies for COVID. How do these antibodies work? Yes, as we said, protein spikes which can fit into the ACE2 receptor which is present on the cells of the lungs. The antibodies go and fit in protein spiked, therefore the virus cannot go inside and it cannot make its own copies. Now the innate immune system can take its own time for killing the rest of all coronavirus cells. It's cool, right? But you would have heard that some people who are aged are not able to recover and go to critical conditions, and some are even dying because both immune systems are weak due to old age. Now, what to do when you're infected? Stay away from everyone, even your family. Isolate yourself. Drink a lot of water, and hot water is much better. Check your oxygen levels regularly by your oximeter. Don't take much stress at all. And our channel wants to suggest you some links which are useful to you, and you can find them in the description. And guys, please don't panic. We have a good news that a lot of vaccines and some are on the way to come, and our government is trying a lot to get, and also please support. And we are happy that a lot of people like Sonu Sood, Anushka Sharma, Virat Kohli, Mark Zuckerberg sir and Akshay Kumar sir and etc. And thank you everyone who else donated and became the persons to get smiles on faces of many people who were in need. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And please do share this necessary video to your friends and family and all who are in need. Stay tuned for our next video. Until then, bye guys.